Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa and I am currently living in Sevilla, Spain. I moved from the US to be an Auxiliar de Conversacion here, and that is what I want to talk about today. I want to kind of explain my own experience. I hope this video helps you guys make your decision of whether you want to become an Auxiliar de Conversacion. So I'm going to answer the most frequently asked questions and just kind of give you like a synopsis of what it's like to apply to the program, move to Spain, once you're in Spain, what to expect, and everything like that based off of my experience. First and foremost, if you are new here, I moved from Texas to become an Auxiliar de Conversacion here in Spain. I heard about this program whenever I was literally researching how can an American move to Europe. So I really wanted to move to Europe because I wanted to experience living and also have the ability to travel a lot. So that was my main incentive to want to move. And I found this program. This program is called NALCAP. So NALCAP literally stands for North American Language and Culture Assistance Program. We are hired by the Spanish government to come here to Spain and teach students English. You're in class with these students and you're speaking English with them. They speak English to you back. We kind of do like fun activities and that kind of thing. How long does this program last? The program starts October 1st and ends May 31st. So when do applications open? Applications open February 1st at 12 a.m. and close, and that's Spanish time, and they close April 7th. So what are the requirements to apply? I'm going to read the exact requirements directly from the website and then kind of talk a little more thoroughly about them. So you need a valid US passport at the time of applying. You have to have a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree, and it says or be enrolled as a junior or senior in a bachelor's program. Basically what this means that if you're a senior in college right now and you graduate in May or in the summer before the program starts in October, then you still qualify to apply for the program. Applicants may also have an associate's degree or be in a community college in their last semester. Have a native-like level of English, so obviously be fluent in English. Be aged 18 through 60 upon submission of your application. Have a basic level of Spanish. It says that you need to know a basic level of Spanish. They don't test your Spanish, okay? So if you know no Spanish at all, don't worry about it because they don't ask you to prove that you know Spanish or not. And you don't actually interview with anyone, you just apply. So this program does not require any kind of interview. So they're not going to ask you like, how's your Spanish? Like, never once in the application is there a section where you have to prove that you do speak Spanish. So if you don't speak any Spanish at all, I would start to try to learn just basic greetings and things like that. Yes, you are coming to Spain, so maybe knowing some Spanish is a good idea, but don't be afraid if you're not like fluent or if you don't feel like, you know, you're gonna be able to learn Spanish before you get here. You will be fine. Be in a good physical and mental health, and then have a clean background check. So you do have to do a background check. I'm not sure what's excluded and what's included, but they do a background check, so just know that. Do you get to choose where you're placed? So they do let you choose your top three picks of autonomous community. So here in Spain, they have autonomous communities, kind of like states in the US. So you get to pick your top three. Does that mean that you're going to end up in the city that you want? No. Does that mean you're going to end up in the region that you want? No. It is a bit of a gamble. So they do give you, the option to choose your top three, but you are not guaranteed to get those top three. I know whenever I applied, I really don't remember what my top three choices were, but they ended up emailing me saying that those were no longer available. And then they were like, choose out of these. And I chose Andalusia and I ended up in Andalusia. So that is because I applied very, very late. The earlier you apply, the better your chances are of getting the region you prefer. So how much do you get paid? If you are in the Madrid or Valencia regions, you get paid 1,000 euros. If you are anywhere else in Spain, you will get paid 700 euros a month. So is this enough to live? I will say 700 euros sounds very, very low compared to the US. And in the US, we have this idea that Europe is so much more expensive than the US is. And that is completely false. It's actually so much cheaper to live here. The cost of living is way lower here than it is in the US. And I lived in Texas where the cost of living really isn't even that high. But 700 euros does sound very low compared to the salaries that people make in the US. Well, although it is not the most generous paycheck in the world, it will be enough for you to survive here in Spain. But very important, you should have savings, and I will get more into that a little bit later on. But yes, you do get paid 700 euros if you are anywhere besides Madrid and Valencia. Madrid and Valencia, you are getting paid 1,000. Okay, so what paperwork is required when submitting your application? So the requirements are a copy of the main page of your valid US passport, an official college transcript or college diploma, a signed statement of purpose, and a letter of recommendation. So these are the 4 requirements. Very simple. There's really not much to it. The statement of purpose is basically you saying to the program why you want to be a part of this program. It's basically like a resume cover letter kind of thing, like this is why I want to be in the program, so and so. Very simple. Okay, so what does the timeline look like of the program? Applications open in February, they close in April. So you will get an initial email around May or June saying that you were accepted. You will not find out where you were placed until about July-ish. It also depends on when you apply. And then in around June, July, maybe even early August, you will find out exactly where you were placed. And at this point, you can start your visa application. So once you know that you were accepted, you can start applying for your visa. You apply for your visa at your nearest Spanish consulate. You could just look it up. Mine was in Houston because I live in Texas, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will be in your state. It could be just like the closest one. So just look it up, Spanish consulates near me, and it tells you what area you belong to. So if you look up the Houston one, it'll tell you all the other states that are covered. I think like Oklahoma is. So you just look it up and you should be able to find which consulate to apply to. So once you send in your paperwork for your visa, it takes about a month to receive your actual passport with your visa on it. The visa is going to be a sticker that goes on your passport. I have another video about when I received my visa. Once you have your visa, then you can go to Spain. You have to have your visa before you fly to Spain. So, and obviously you need it because you need your passport anyway. So you cannot fly to Spain unless you have your visa. I would not advise booking your flight until you physically have your visa. A couple of things you're going to need to do when you arrive in Spain. You're going to need a phone line. You're going to need a bank account. You're going to have to apply for your TIE, which is your residence card. You're gonna have to obviously find an apartment. The thing you can start doing right now, even before the application is open, is create an account on PROFEX. I'm gonna have everything listed below, so you guys can just go to the link. It has everything explained on there very, very thoroughly. You can start your application right now. You can't submit the 4 required documents until the application opens. So it says, before applications open, create an account on PROFEX and fill out the curriculum/resume section. There are 3 required sections under curriculum, and the other should be left blank. Leaving them blank will not influence your application in any manner. Make sure to follow the PROFEX handbook to a T. So what helped me and what I did was I printed out every single PDF document that they had on there, read through it, highlighted the important sections, the important requirements, so like you must submit this, you must submit that. I printed everything out because I thought it was just a lot easier to have everything tangible, because there are so many things on this application. I don't know how many spots they have. I don't think anyone really actually knows. They don't really put out a number that says there's 7,000 slots, so if you're number 10,000, then forget about it. But I remember whenever I applied, I was hearing a lot of opinions about how my number was really, really high. They're like, well, you might not get accepted because your number's super high. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'll just apply early next year. But I did end up getting placed, of course. And I was actually pretty surprised. I was so excited, but I was very, very surprised because I was under the impression that since I applied so late that I wasn't going to get placement. But don't worry, just apply, just go for it. Even if you have a high number, or if you're watching this video after the application already opened, it is not too late. Unless it's past April 7th, it is not too late. You could still apply. Just go ahead and apply. Don't worry about it being too late. I was stressing out and I was like, damn it, like I wanted to get my application in sooner. Like I'm not going to get a good placement. I'm not maybe even going to get a placement, but I did, and I got Sevilla, and I'm super lucky. So yeah, just don't get discouraged if you're watching this video later on in the year and you think, I mean, as long as, like I said, it's before April 7th, you could still apply. So I work 12 hours a week. I was assigned to a high school and a primary school. At my high school, I'm there on Monday and Wednesday, and then at my primary school, I'm there Tuesday, Thursday. On Monday, I have 4 classes. Tuesday, I have 3. Wednesday, I have 2. And then Thursday, I have 3. So I only work a total of 12 hours a week. I usually go in at either 9:15 or 9:30, and I'm always off by like 2 p.m. every day. Actually, I think one day I'm off at 3 p.m. I work Monday through Thursday. I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so I do have 3-day weekends every single week. This is not a guarantee. You will only work 4 days. Some people work 3 days, but it's very, very rare. Mainly, they're gonna have you working 4 days, and you'll have 3 days off. Whether those 3 days off are in a row or not, it just depends. Some people that I know are off on Mondays, some people are off on Fridays, and others are off on Tuesdays. It really just depends. So what are the kids like? I absolutely love the kids so much. They are really, really sweet. My primary kids are a little more fun in the sense that they're like more interested, like they're more excited to see me. Like whenever I arrive in class, they cheer and they're so happy. Some of them run up and give me hugs. Like they're just super excited to have you there. The high schoolers, obviously not so much. I do have a group of 12-year-olds and then 16-year-olds. The 16-year-olds are just not super interested in learning English at that point in their lives anymore. So I wouldn't say that they're like the most exciting grade to teach, because they're just like not really into it. But you know, I'm like, it's still cool. It's still interesting, you know, because they're older and some of them do have really good levels of English. Some of them don't know any English at all. So the English level does vary from class to class, student to student. You can right away pick up which ones are not understanding you at all and which ones are like go to private lessons and know English really, really well. So you just will have to adapt and adjust. But all the kids are great. At least all the kids that I got are excellent. The teachers are also awesome. I mean, I have their numbers and I message them like, hey, like, what do you want me to prepare for next class? Like usually at the class, whenever the class is over, I ask the teacher like, hey, what would you like for me to prepare for next class? And then they tell me like, okay, we're learning so-and-so. Can you prepare a game? Like mainly what we're doing is preparing these games to where they're interacting with us. So getting them to talk or, you know, stuff like that, just like different activities that I think of. Like I've played Jeopardy with the kids, bingo, they love bingo. Kahoot, which is this like website that the kids get to play from their devices and answer questions. The kids love those. So we just play different activities. The topics are usually pretty simple. So currently the classes that I teach are gym. I have 2 gym classes. I know it's really random, but I have 2 gym classes. I have 3 or 4 math classes. And then at my other one, I'm like doing like social sciences or just science in general. Since like it's primary, they'll learn like parts of the body or things like that. Just very simple, very easy. I mean, the things that you're gonna have to teach the students are things that we should probably already know. I have had to teach algebra, fractions, that kind of thing, but I personally love math and it's my favorite subject. So for me, it's just like a breeze. I know that there's other people that have expressed to me like, oh, I hate math. Like I don't want to have to teach these kids algebra whenever I don't even know algebra. And I mean, that would just be a thing where you would have to talk with a teacher or maybe just review it a little bit beforehand. I don't know, but you can communicate with the teacher like what is expected of you, and maybe if you don't feel super comfortable teaching a certain subject, maybe communicating that to them. I would just be open about it with the teacher, but we don't get to choose what class we end up in. Like I didn't know I was going to end up in math classes or gym, which I felt like like, what do I even teach these kids in these classes? For my gym class, I sit down with 2 kids at a time and we just have conversation, normal conversation. I get them to talk to me, ask me questions. I ask them questions, they respond. So yeah, very simple. I don't teach them like actual gym, like I don't teach the class. Usually there's a teacher teaching the class whatever activity they're doing for the day, and then I just talk to them in pairs and just have like a normal conversation with them just to get them to practice their English and have them speak with me and then listen as well. So I also have taught them how to read numbers and that kind of thing, which, like I said, I mean, it's one of the things that I would say that, like, if you have a college degree, you should know. I mean, I can't speak for everyone because I know there's some people that hated math, hated fractions and all that kind of thing, but I think if you brush up on it a little bit, you'll remember how to do these things, and then you can teach the kids. There are things that I have had to teach kids before that I wasn't an expert on, so I just kind of read the book, review it, and then I'm like, okay, like I'm doing this, this, and this, I'm teaching this, this, and this. But so for some things you do have to kind of review first. Other things are just super logical that you won't have to, like parts of the body, ears, eyes, whatever, like just depends on your grade level of students. Do you need to have teaching experience? You do not. I have 0 teaching experience. I've never taught a day in my life. I honestly had very little experience with children in general. That is not a requirement. You don't need to have teaching experience, and a lot of other AUXs don't have any teaching experience, so the teachers already know this. What you should do is communicate with your teacher, like what they expect of you. Ask them, like, what do you want me to prepare? Like, maybe even tell them, like, hey, I've never been a teacher before. I do need you to guide me a little bit with what you expect of me in the class, and go from there. But you don't have to be a teacher. You don't have to have any teaching experience to be able to do this program. Do you lead the class or do you assist? This varies so much. So I feel like in the beginning, most of the teachers had me kind of like helping out here and there, and now I'm leading the class a little bit more, but I haven't had to really necessarily prepare lectures. I do ask the teacher, like, hey, what are the students learning? They're learning how to read numbers in English. Okay, I know I don't need to study that because I just tell them how to read numbers, right? Like I just teach that to them. I make it a point to ask them very often, like, do you guys understand? Do you have any questions? That kind of thing. So I am teaching the class. It's not like the teacher's gone and not there. And if I do have any questions, like, hey, how do I do like this? How do I say this? Blah, blah, blah. Then they will help me. So how many times are you able to do this program? I haven't heard of a limit, but there are limits per region. So for example, Andalusia has a limit of 2 years. These are all actually listed on the website, but each region has a specific maximum amount of years, but not all of them do. But in total, I'm pretty sure you can do the program as many times. I know of some people that have even done it like 5 to 8 years. So you can continue to renew and do the program over and over again. So is it expensive to live in Spain? Can you survive with 700 euros? I kind of touched on this earlier a little bit, but I'm going to kind of go over what the actual costs of my personal experience living here are. This is going to vary, obviously, depending on where you live. I live in Sevilla. I live pretty close to the center. I mean, I think it's still kind of considered the center, and I pay 300 euros for a 1 bedroom. I pay for the bedroom and I share with 2 roommates. So obviously we share the kitchen and the living room. So it is a 3-bedroom apartment. I pay for my 1 bedroom and it's 300 euros. Then after that, we pay for our utilities, which I have paid. The most I've paid of utilities is 80 euros, but that was just because our light bill was outrageously high last month. So that's from there, that's like the highest I've paid, and then usually it's about like 330 or 340. So I would say on average I spend 350 on rent and utilities. I do have a gym membership that is like 45 euros a month. I spend about 30 euros a week on groceries. To ride the bus, it's 70 cents each way. I spend about 20 to 30 euros a month on my bus card, so I just refill it, reload it, or whatever, because that's how I get around in the city. My phone plan is 20 euros a month, which is so cheap compared to the US. I'm wanting to downgrade to the 10 euros a month phone plan because I don't use enough data to justify the 20 euros a month, but with 20 euros a month, I get 35 gigabytes. And I've been wanting to downgrade to the 10 euros a month because I don't ever end up finishing all the data. So very cheap. Overall, in general, cost of living is way lower here than in the US. You can get like a coffee for under 2 euros. You can have a nice dinner for about 15 euros, a normal dinner for like under 10 euros. Breakfast you can have for under 5 euros. A drink, like a wine glass or something like that, 3 to 4 euros. Of course, I mean, it's average and then it can go up from there depending on like if you go to a super nice place or whatever. But yeah, just in general, I was really surprised whenever I moved here that everything is just so much cheaper. I mean, even flights. For me, like living here, I'm like discovering how cheap it is to live here and how cheap it is to travel in Europe. Like I can find so many flights under 100 euros round trip to a lot of places in Europe. So I got a ticket to Milan for 26 euros and so on. Like I can find super cheap flights from like here to anywhere in Europe for under 100 euros. It's actually insane because like in the US, I can't even go from Texas to Miami for like less than $200. So it's super cheap to travel here. So I will say that this program is notorious for paying late. And this is something you need to know. You need to know that you're not guaranteed to get paid on time every single month. This is my personal experience with it. I did not get paid for October or November until early December, and then I didn't get paid for December until mid-January. From what I've heard, some people get paid at the beginning of the month, some people get paid in the middle of the month. I currently get paid in the middle of the month, and yeah, it's just gonna depend, but just know that there is a chance that you won't get paid exactly when you expect it. So like at the end of every month, you might not necessarily get paid, at least in the beginning. I think that afterwards, when you get your first paycheck, it does go back to normal and you do start getting paid like at the same scheduled time every single month. So far, it's January right now. So, I mean, I've only gotten 2 paychecks for October and November. I got paid in December, and then for December, I got paid in January, just like a week ago or something like that. So yeah, that's the situation with the payments. That's why it's very important for you guys to have money saved up if you're going to do this program, because for one, you're going to have to do your visa paperwork. I think it's about $160 for you to submit that. You're going to have to buy your own flight to go to Spain. You're going to have to be able to support yourself whenever you move to Spain and have somewhere to stay while you're apartment hunting. Also, when you do find your apartment, you're going to also need to pay like a down payment and that kind of thing. And you're going to probably need to be able to survive at least a couple months without receiving a paycheck. So yes, you do need to have money saved up before you do this program. I would advise about $3,000 just as the bare minimum. I think I spent like about 1,000 on the first month whenever I didn't have a place, but then I also had to pay 700 euros for the down payment. And just in general, like, just so you're not stressing out over money, I think 3,000 is a good baseline to have. Also, if you plan on traveling, then you're going to have to, of course, have more than that. But it really just depends on what your plan is whenever you do get here. I'm doing this program because I wanted to live in Spain, live in Europe in general, because I wanted to be able to travel. I work very little hours a week. I have a lot of flexibility. I'm able to travel and I'm able to experience life in Europe. And that is like the main reason why I would suggest you do this program. If you've just always wanted to live in Europe, you've always wanted to experience what living in Europe was like, and also to have the opportunity to travel, then this would be a great program for you to do, because it is very easy to get accepted, to apply, get accepted, and be able to get your visa so you can live here. Otherwise, if you're just an American who wants to move to Europe and not be an auxiliar de conversación, you're only allowed to stay here 90 days with a tourist visa. You can get a work visa, but it is more difficult to come by. So like basically what you have to do is find a job that is willing to sponsor your visa, and that they're going to say like, yes, I want to hire this person to come work for my company. But it is complicated. I really honestly am not the best person to ask about that because I really know very little about it. So yeah, like if you want to come to live in Spain, then the AUXILIAR de Conversacion program is an excellent way to be able to be granted this visa, be able to live in Spain and have the opportunity to live here, have a really laid back, flexible job where it's very low stress, low demand job, at least in my experience. I mean, I have heard situations where people don't get along with the people at their school. It just depends. I mean, it really, really varies. I mean, it's like with anything, like some people are going to love it and some people might not have the best experience with it. I personally love it. I love living in Spain. I love living in Europe. I've already been able to see so many new countries and I just think it's super fun and exciting to travel, to go to new places and just live my dream life, literally. Like I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to just continue to travel, and honestly, living in Europe was also always a dream of mine. So now being able to do this, it's just incredible, amazing. And I really would advise for you guys that if you want to move to Europe, then apply for this program. Even if you are over here in Spain and then you don't end up liking it, I mean, your contract is only until May, so then you can always move back. But this is an amazing opportunity for us as Americans to be able to live in Europe. I think it's an amazing program. And even though it does have its faults, I mean, there are a lot of things that I've experienced here in Spain that like I'm not a huge fan of, but I will probably go into detail on a later video talking about the things that I don't necessarily love about Spain. But in general, I'm super happy here. I love living here. I know I probably didn't cover every single question you guys may have, but please comment them below. I will be reading through them and answering all the questions because I want to make sure that you guys are getting all the information you need. Also, I can make more videos more detailed about certain things like the visa, the TIE, and just everything else. I know right now a lot of these things aren't making sense to you guys because you have no idea what they are, but I just kind of wanted to give like a general overview of what it's like to be an auxiliar de conversación, if it's right for you, and if this is something that you would want to do, just because the application is opening up soon. Just kind of wanted to give a brief overview of what it's like and what you can expect if you do move to Spain as an auxiliar de conversación. And like I said, I probably didn't cover absolutely everything, but please comment down below and I'll make sure that I answer all of y'all's questions. Like always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will continue to post my regular vlogs. I know I'm very, very behind on those, but I'm trying my best to get those edited and posted because I really want to show you guys exactly what my journey was like. Hopefully it helps you guys ease your mind about certain things and also like prepares you for what to expect. So yeah, I will continue to post my vlogs. Thank you guys so much for the feedback and everything because you guys have been amazing and super supportive and I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe for more content about living in Spain, being an auxiliar de conversación and everything like that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! At the local time in Spanish. In Spain.
Can you pass me my coat, please?
What are you doing?
I need to get my bag.